Well, hello there, my YouTube dwelling paintballers. I have some paintball goodness for you today. Sorry it's been so long since I've uploaded anything of meaningful substance. I think my last video was a paintball video. Now, I will continue to do paintball videos because I love doing them and I just enjoy playing paintball in general. So that's why we're all here today, is because of my paintball hobby, at least on this page, right? This is the marker that I'm replacing. This is the MCS Takamo Vortex kit. It has the E-trigger, it has the lock bolt, it has the drop down ASA, it has the flex air kit. It's a decent gun. It's not your beginner gun, but it's not necessarily your high-end gun either, as we all know. So I had to upgrade. This was a great gun for getting into MagFed, and ultimately this gun, the internals in this gun, were from the same Tippmann A5 that I started paintballing with. So this gun has treated me right for a very long time. However, its time has come. And out the door this A5 goes. Well, as soon as I make it all pretty again, I'm going to sand it down and put a new coat of paint on it, spiff it all back up, and then put it back out on eBay in the open market. Hopefully another paintballer will enjoy it. Now, as for me, in my paintball career, I have been keeping an eye out for a spectacular deal, and I found one on this specific marker that I've wanted. It is not the top of the line version of this marker, however, it is a very nice marker nonetheless. So why don't we just crack this open and see what we got? Actually, why don't you guys take some guesses? Maybe it's a Tippmann TMC or a Milsig. Perhaps it's that new Valken gun. No, it's not that new Valken gun. That thing looks like trash. I'm sure you all know what it is, because I love MCS and I love the stuff that they have, and I have tons of Helix mags, so I'm sure it's not hard for you to deduct that I have acquired a 4.68. And this 4.68 is just the standard 4.68. It's not the PTR. However, it does come with the extended mag well, which is newer. It does come with the billet aluminum body, all billet aluminum. So I guess earlier models didn't. I guess they weren't all billet aluminum. However, this is all billet aluminum, from the handguard to the barrel to the air through buffer tube, whatever you want to call it. The sight, all metal except for the pistol grip and the foregrip. Those are the only polymer aspects on this. Oh, and the buttstock. So there's that too. Buttstock's polymer. Let's just start from the front, work our way on down to the back. On the front, our barrel. I have what I like to call my barrel system, is because they all kind of work in unison together. This is the Tiberius Arms rifled first strike barrel by Lapco. It is indeed rifled. As you can probably see, maybe you can't. Hold on, let me take out my preview here. Maybe you can see down that. Ooh, you know what? I got an idea. I'll get a light. Alright. Now, the rifling on this is unique to other riflings, like the Nemesis barrel, or I think there's one other one. But it's unique. It fits the fins. There's grooves cut into the barrel. Obviously, it's rifled, right? So there's grooves cut in that directly fit these fins. And no matter what angle it gets in, it'll find the rifling and spin. This is a very, very accurate barrel. The reason I went with this is actually the TIPX version of the rifled barrel. The reason I went with this one is because I wanted to be able Raging Donkey sound amplifier by Modern Combat Sports or whatever. I polished it all up, or sanded it down. It's not really a polished finish, but it does look a little nicer. It's raw metal. I like it. The whole reason I stayed with Lapco is because you can do any number of combinations of their barrels and their barrel ends. As you see here, I just put the hush shot on the rifled barrel. So that turns my little 9-inch rifled barrel into a more battle rifle-esque 16-inch rifled barrel. Now obviously this entire hush shot portion isn't rifled, but you still get the accuracy from the first strikes themselves, and then also being rifled. It's a very, very accurate platform when you put these two together. As far as being first strike ready, it has the Gen 2 Javelin in it, so that's completely functional with first strikes. I just have to get, you have to have an FSR Helix mag or D mag that has the FSR spring in it. Feeds perfect. I've had no issues feeding. I have test fired it once since I've got it. There were no issues at all. I was very surprised how my old furniture just slapped on there as easy as it did. Like this handguard here, this air-through buffer tube. That was all stuff that came off my A5. When I bought this from Milsig Direct, I think, I purchased just the upper and just the lower. It did, however, have this pistol grip, but that's all I purchased. I had the scope, I had the handguard, I had the buttstock and the tube. So I got a screaming deal on this. That's why I went ahead and picked it up. I had all the stuff, and here we are. Personally, when I'm out playing paintball day to day, my local field really only allows round ball. So to that extent, I have a round ball setup. This is a Lapco Big Shot Assault Barrel. It uses the same fitments. I could put the sound enhancer on this if I wished, or I could put it on this barrel. These are the same size as far as length. The only difference here is I got a 687 and this is a 690. So if I'm running, field grade paint, it's not very good. I like to run the overbore so I can get a little bit more consistency out of it. But with the Apex, it kind of nullifies that. The Apex is nice in certain scenarios. If I'm running a big event and it's round ball only, honestly, I'm going to be running the Apex because I like to be able to, add a little spin to my ball, a little zing, if you will. I like to zing it that way or zing it this way or dive bomb it straight onto your forehead, whatever. It's nice to have that ability with the Apex. And look at how good that looks. Tell me that doesn't look good. Let me see if I can just admire that. I put a carbon fiber wrap on it so it kind of gives it a nice carbon fiber look. It's nice though. Kind of gives it a really kind of special operations feel with the kind of looks like a mock suppressor. Doesn't do anything of the sort though. But it looks nice, don't you think? With that suppressor on it, the whole thing. The barrel system's good though. I love the Lapco products. They are very pricey as far as barrels are concerned. I think each one of these barrels are about $90. I think the first strike one was like $95, but that's $300 right there. Plus, I think these are $50 or $60, so it's expensive. These Lapco Big Shot assault barrels are expensive, but they're worth it. They have a glass-like finish on the inside. There's no fins. So it's very simple. You just plug and play. So that's my barrel system, handguard. Let's kind of break into the internals of what's going on here in this 468. This is a 2018 model. I guess I'll just leave these down. It's a 2018 model, and what that means is it comes with the extended mag well. It comes with the all billet aluminum construction. It comes with the Gen 2 Javelin bolt on the inside that fires first strike rounds. I also picked up this is the old one, but this is I picked up the new Gen 2 valve. This is the first gen valve. I've taken it out, so it's gone. I also picked up the spring kit. So this allows you to fine-tune your velocities depending on what barrel you're using, what ammunition you're using, how the ammunition is sizing that day. So this allows you to really fine-tune your velocity depending on whatever it is you're shooting that day. Very, very worth it. Now, when I bought this 468, this 468 was a showroom model, so I didn't get a big old fancy box with the mag and the loading rod. I literally got this. It came shipped in a big plastic rag, big bubble wrap plastic, and I just got that. So it comes with the Gen 2 Javelin, which is designed to shoot first strike rounds. Because originally this 468 did not come with a first strike capability. So that's what they made this Javelin bolt for. So under the first, I guess, one of the first things I did as far as modifications are concerned when I got this was I just went around inspecting items and seeing if there's just any general modification that I could do to make the entire system a little bit more efficient, a little bit more reliable, a little bit more ergonomic or smooth. And one of those things that I came across was in the Javelin bolt itself. And this is a modification that I have not seen on the internet anywhere. Not even on YouTube or any of the forums. I'm not in that many forums, but so Gen 2 Javelin bolt, right? All aluminum, milled. I kind of sanded mine down so it's a lot more smooth. You don't have those mill marks in it anymore. But you can see that when they made this Javelin bolt, as it, I guess, what do you call it? As it moves forward, the air comes into here, right? It pressurizes from the hammer and then the spring and the valve system, and it comes up here, shoots through the bolt. And you can see they actually did a pretty nice job manufacturing a like a Derlin insert that they have in there. So they tapped out the center of this thing and then stuck a Derlin insert in there, and you can see it's very nice and conical. It's very efficient. As soon as the air gets into here, it's a straight path. Very, very good. Not too bad. But where it comes, where I noticed it was lacking was in the front bolt. This is the part that they made to accept the first strikes, right? So when the first strikes get up and loaded, it can sit. It can push the back of the first strike, no issue. So that's what the issue was with the first bolt. They fixed it. However, you can see there, that's what the back of this looks like. Well, I guess if I can be more specific, this was one piece they drilled out, right? And the back of this looked exactly like this. And so when the air would come through the bolt very efficiently, right? And they made this nice insert, like I was saying earlier, and it comes straight through here. It would essentially hit a flat wall, just like that, on the backside. So what I did was I took a Dremel, and you can kind of see, maybe you can't, maybe it's a little hard, but I kind of opened up the back of it and coned it. Kind of dremeled it out, so it's just, because it literally used to look like that. It was just the reverse. And so I dremeled it out, and so it's just got a lot more open space to it. See if I can get a better picture here. It's just got a better, I guess, better airflow to it, if that makes sense. It's not as impinged on the back of it. It's kind of just less restrictive is all. So I did that. That was one of the first things I did. Hopefully that'll, you know, make things just a little bit more efficient. And this just screws on and off. So I'm going to get some Loctite, dab it in there, screw it down before I go ahead and put it back in there for good. That was the first mod I did. Second mod, like I said, is I got this off the shelf, so I didn't get any of the spring kit, so I picked up the Gen 2 spring kit, or not the Gen 2, but I picked up the spring kit and then the Gen 2 valve. This is the first gen. Second gen's already in there, already installed it. I didn't want to do a video like that for you guys because there's already enough of that kind of stuff on the internet. I just wanted to show you what I got and what I'm doing with it. So that's about all the internal stuff I did with it. I did kind of sand down the bottom of the bolt, so, or not the bolt, the bottom of the hammer where the trigger sear engages. I sanded that all super smooth, so now the trigger pull is extra buttery. Because this is not the PTR lower. The PTR lower's got a lot more time invested into the smoothness of how the lower operates. This is still kind of running on the, you know, the blueprints of how it was kind of originally designed. So eventually the PTR will make its way into my life, but not today. This is plenty sufficient, and with that Gen 2 in there, it doesn't bother me at all. I have a feeling this is going to be super efficient. Super efficient. Now, when I was testing it out, I was very surprised at how consistent it was. And this was even before I put the second gen valve in there. It was shooting very consistent, plus or minus 5 feet per second, which is very good. I'll put a little lube on that before I stick it back in. Here we go. You just want to make sure your bolt's all nice and lubed up, because from what I hear, this is not a Tippmann. Okay, this weapon will become finicky if you do not maintain it, if you do not give it love and care. Oh yeah, look at that. Just get it all over. Nice and lube. And you want to make sure you're using a mineral oil lubricant. Anything that's petroleum based will start eating up the O-rings. So just make sure you use mineral lubrication oil. As you know, there's tons of different variations of that out on the market right now, so just choose a good quality one. You'll be all right. So let's go ahead. I like to run with this kind of apexy barrel looking. Actually, you know what? My fingers are all slippery, and it's just kind of just put this normal one back on. So I really love the ergonomics of this. One thing that my biggest gripe, I should say, about the Vortex, aside from being ridiculously heavier than this, was, I guess, let me break it out, how long. I didn't like how far the magazine was from the trigger. I mean, you can see here the comparison, how much farther away. And not only is this further away, right? So the entire shooting mechanism, and then you got to fit your buttstock in there, and then you got this big old thing. So you got your buttstock that's like out to here. So you got a, 2-foot weapon before you even get to your barrel, pretty much. And then you got to start sacrificing your barrel to get in, to QCB combat, unless you got some folding stock or something like that. It was too long, and I didn't like it. That was the reason I didn't like it. And with this, it stacks up really nice. So when you put it up close to your shoulder, you can't really see me shouldering it right now, but I'm shouldering it. When you put it up to your shoulder, the profile, the end of the barrel, is not much longer than a speedball gun. Because if you think about it, you know, you got your, this is a normal barrel. It's only 10 inches. You know, most speedball guns got a 10 to 14 inch barrel. You got your little gun, and then your tank would come out here. So it's really not that longer than somebody's, you know, shouldering a tank. But, you know, I guess that depends if you got the drop down ASA or whatever. But I think that's what it really comes to, is if you want to be competitive with speedballers, you got to be able to pull yourself into those tight bunkers and pull yourself up to the wall without having that long gun, because the longer that gun is, the more you kind of have to expose yourself to get the angle on that other shooter. So that's what's kind of really important for me, is keeping a very efficient, compact package, and that's what this is. So I have a feeling this is going to be a very welcomed addition to my whole kit, and I believe I'm going to do a loadout video. Just let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see a loadout video of, and when I say loadout, I mean, you know, my chest rig, my you know, like my shoes, my gloves, you know, what kind of mag pouches I'm holding. If you guys want to see that, I would love, you know, to do a video like that. If you guys want to see it, just let me know in the comments. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Oh, the back end. Let's talk about that real quick. So I have the Tippmann Pro Connect 3, I think is what it is. The Tippmann Pro Connect 3. It's got kind of that, you know, pointy conical shape rather than the slide checks. One of the complaints about this weapon was it's kind of hard to degas once you've gassed it up. People with the slide checks really don't have that issue. Now, the one thing that I didn't want to get, because I have a slide check too, I like this one better, is because you don't accidentally hit the slide check. I've accidentally hit it before. It's not often, but I've done it, and it's something that I don't like. So that's what this Pro Connect avoids. You have to deliberately push it in, hit the button, pull it out. Very easy. It's idiot proof. It's really not hard to degas, even if the system's fully under pressure. Pushing it in, hitting that button, and getting it out, degassing it is not hard. It's really idiot proof. I don't have it with me. The Pro Connect is in my box right now. I don't really feel like digging it up. Another modification I did was I took out the mag release button and I sanded all the corners. You can kind of see it's sanded there. I did take it out and do the reverse. And I kind of have a theory where any sharp edge of metal going on, like that 90 degrees, causes friction, and if you can mitigate that by adding a bevel to any moving part, which is kind of what I did with this button, and the other side, on the inside I kind of beveled it so it sits really nice. That was another issue 468 owners were talking about, you know, the mag well, especially compared to some of the mill SIGs I've seen, or the Tiberius T15. The insert is just so clean and smooth. It's hard to, you know, get back to anything else. But with this extended mag, I have not noticed that. It is a little bit, does take a little bit more to kind of get it in there. That MCS, you know, or the Helix mag slap, it is a little bit of a slap. You can kind of see, you know, where's it at? Well, I always give it a good, regardless, I always give it a good slap before I, you know, take off running or whatever anyway. So if you don't slap your mags, I think that's kind of just bad, you know, manual of arms. I think you should always slap your mag, make sure that thing's in there, and charge it back. So, but even, you know, if you got the right motion, boom, that's in there. It's in there. It's not that bad. Just you got to give it, you know, manhandle it. Can't be a pussy. It's got to get in there, right? So, not a big deal for me. Maybe some people complain about it if they're being picky, but for me, not a big deal. So, that essentially wraps up my new marker. Nothing else really about it. I didn't really cover the scope. Nothing special about the scope. This is just a scope I bought off eBay for 20 bucks. It's got a, you know, a red dot in there. I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, I got the light in the way. But it's just a basic red dot. Yeah, you can't really see it. But it works. Basic red dot. I got a lens protector. It's very nice. Keeps the paintballs and things from breaking my setup. However, if I do want to go to a bigger event game, it's using first strikes, and I want to be more of a sniper orientated loadout, it's really not that hard, because this is essentially based off an AR platform, right? So if you want to go to a sniper loadout, like I said, I got the barrel system, right? So I go ahead, slap on the barrel system. I have this scope I use for first strikes. Don't use this very often. I have to get into a very big, a big game, essentially, to break out the scope. You can see it's even starting to rust. This is nothing special. This is a eBay scope, I bought for however much, but it keeps it zero, when I put it in, and that's what I like about it. And the front lens, you probably can't even tell by looking at it like this, but the front lens is a thick mother, and there is no way, there's no way a paintball is going to break that. It is just a massive, probably shouldn't have used that, it's got oil on it, but whatever, I'll get back in there and clean it. I don't use it often. But yeah, if I do have a big scenario game, I'm using first strikes, I do have this scope. If I want to go kind of sniper-esque, I'll put the scope on there. I got a longer hand guard to kind of give you that, sniper look, with a bipod mount, right there, so you can kind of get an idea, and that's kind of what's cool about this. I can go from a QCB setup to a sniper setup relatively fast, depending on what the mission calls for, or the scenario, or whatever. So, anyways, that's about it for my new Modern Combat Sports 468 paintball marker. If you have any questions about my specific marker, or maybe 468s in general, I know they've been around for a while. This is not the PTR, the new God version, or not God version, but it's the latest and greatest. But I know there's lots of people out there that just have random questions about paintball guns, their markers they're trying to get, or don't feel afraid to ask. So, anyways, I will have more content coming out. I do know that a lot of people on my YouTube page like to watch the truck videos I have, and I love my truck, but it is not necessarily a hobby, building my truck, as it were. So I'm probably going to keep this channel geared towards paintball. You might see some of my cars and some of my vehicles show up every now and then, but generally paintballing's kind of my hobby right now. So, and I love making the paintball videos. I love making the content, even though I'm not Nightmare PB or the Hidden Hedgehog. I love getting my footage out there and editing it down, and it's also kind of a learning process, because when you're able to rewind the footage of the day from your game, you're really able to kind of take note of stupid things you did, which, like I said, happens all the time. I do stupid things where it's just like, what was I thinking? But that's why I like to be able to watch other people's games and my own gameplay, because it really allows you and other people to be put through scenarios that maybe they wouldn't see on their field, and kind of maybe put themselves in your shoes, and maybe how would they handle that scenario. So it's just cool, and I like the community, even though sometimes there's some toxic people, but hey, every community's got those kinds of people. So anyways, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments. Send this or give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I got a lot more coming up, so subscribe if you want to see more paintball content using this beautiful 468. Anyways, this is Novagunner, out.